Hello, hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tony, and I am currently playing Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo. And I was talking about, I guess, like my life, like when I was younger, like my dad dying and anxiety and, you know, super fun, uplifting stories like that. I just basically, I wanted to talk. Like, I wanted to have something to talk about while I'm recording, so it's not just like dead air in gameplay, because this game doesn't really have a storyline, and I don't really have anybody with me. I don't really. I literally, my house is completely empty except for me and the cat at the moment. So, you know, I don't have anybody here to talk, you know, to talk about stuff, like, you know, whatever. So it's just me. So I thought that I would try to tell like some stories of my life, but I don't know how interesting any of my stories are going to be to anyone. So, you know, I guess there's only so much that I can talk about, but I talked about anxiety, and I talked about my dad dying, and I talked about my like growing up and how my childhood was basically pretty normal. At least, I mean, normal to me. I don't know if other people would call it normal, but I thought it was normal. And I talked, yeah, that's all I've talked about so far. My ex-boyfriend. I mentioned one ex-boyfriend. I haven't really had like a ton of relationships. I had an ex-boyfriend, and he was oh, okay. He was like my first serious boyfriend, I guess. And then I had you know, I don't know. I'm not going to talk about my relationships too much. But I don't know what to talk about, honestly. Like, I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer and talk about like my childhood trauma. You know what I mean? Like, not even childhood, teenage trauma. Like, I don't know. Like, it's crazy. Like, to me, like, obviously I know that my life wasn't normal, like when I was a teenager, like, but I don't know how to describe it. Like, my mom, yeah, she drank every single night. She did. She did not go a single day without falling asleep drunk. But it's not like she didn't go to work. She still went to work. She still paid the bills. She still made sure we had groceries. You know, she didn't, it's not like she just like wasn't there, because she was. She just wasn't, I guess, emotionally there. Like, she was just so stuck in her grief that she couldn't, I don't know, she couldn't really be there. And so that kind of made me, it's funny because like I get told a lot that I'm too independent. Like, I don't really accept help from people too often. And like I don't usually tell people if I need help. I just kind of suck it up and do it all on my own. I kind of always have. And I really think that that is because when I, you know, my whole like teenage life, I didn't have a choice in the matter. I had to do everything on my own because nobody else was going to help me, you know? Nobody else was there. I mean, obviously, like, I had my friends, but they were teenagers too. Like, they couldn't, you know, they all had their own stuff that they were going through. You know, like all teenagers. So, I remember, okay, here's a story I'll tell. Now, you know what, it's kind of a bummer of a story. And it kind of paints my mother in a bad light, and I don't really like to paint my mother in a bad light if I can help it. what's funny is I've always wanted to like write a book about like everything that happened, which is where like my daughter told me that I should tell people the story because I can't write. Like I tried to write, like I tried to like attempt to like start writing a book, but I can get it all in my head, like all of the ideas and all of like the thoughts, but I can't get it out onto paper. So my daughter told me that I should just do story times where I basically talk about all of it. But I feel awkward doing that. Like, I don't know. I feel like people don't want to hear about, you know, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. So I don't really know what to talk about. I don't know what stories to tell. I already talked about anxiety. I already talked about my dad. I already talked about whatever, I don't know. I'm terrible at this. I'm not good at this at all. So, I don't know. I don't know what. Like, I don't have, like, crazy, like, oh, I was stalked, or, like, none of my stories are like that, you know? Like, it's not stories that are, like, entertaining because, you know, someone, oh, you know what? Okay, here's a story I can tell. So, when I was turning 15, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was turning 15. It was like the summer that my dad, like the summer after my dad died, so I was turning 15. I was, of course, you know, newly able to go out and do things. You know what I mean? Like, I guess, like, new freedom, I guess. I don't really know. I don't know how to describe it. Like, I had gone from not even being able to cross the street by myself 6 months prior to suddenly being able to basically do whatever I wanted. So I had this newfound freedom, and so I was hanging out with, you know, all these different people that I really hadn't ever hung out with before. Like, I knew who they were, small town and all that, but, like, we hadn't hung out because I hadn't been allowed to cross the street by myself prior to this, and they lived across the street in the trailer park, and my family lived across from the trailer park in, like, a private dirt road with, like, you know, probably 10 houses on it or so, maybe less. And so I was hanging out with all these different people, and there was this guy. I'm not gonna say his last name, but his first name was Chris, and he was much older than me. I was about to turn 15, and so he must have been. I think he was in his 20s, to be honest with you. I really don't know, like, his actual age. I just know that he was a lot older than me, and he took a liking to me. And I was very, very young and naive. I had never even kissed a boy. I'd never held a boy's hand. I was not somebody who was interested in boys in that way at all. Like, not even a little tiny bit was I interested in boys in that way. So this person showing interest in me didn't really mean much to me. It was just this guy who clearly wanted to hang out with me. Guys, my daughter is sending me pictures of her face where she drew on tears because she's crying because she misses me. Oh goodness, that is very funny and dramatic. But anyway, so this guy showed interest in me, wanted to hang out with me. He was, I want to say he was like the friend of a friend. Like, I don't know if him and this other person like worked together, because a lot of my friends, I was turning 15, and a lot of them were either already 16 or turning 16 shortly. Like, most of the people that I hung out with were at least a year older than me. Some of them were my age, but a lot of them were like 1 year older than me. So not like tons older, but just a little bit. And anyway, this guy decided that for my 15th birthday, because my birthday's in the summer, so I was out of school, he decided that he was going to have a party at his house for me. Well, at the time, I was not a drinker yet. Like, I hadn't started, like, really doing much of it. I don't even think I had smoked pot yet at this point. I don't think that I smoked pot for the first time until the following school year. A friend of mine babysat her sisters after school every day at her mother's house, and one of our other friends lived on the same street, and so we went behind his house and smoked pot. That's where I smoked pot for the first time. But anyway, so this guy decided to have a party at his house for me, and he, before anybody got there, was sitting on the porch with me. Remember, I am a newly 15-year-old girl. And this guy is at least 21 because he's old enough to buy alcohol all by himself. He has a huge bottle of cheap vodka. And he tells me that because it's my birthday, I'm going to get drunk. Well, I'd never gotten drunk before. And he told me that I was either going to drink it or he was going to force it down my throat. And so he put an arm around me and held me in place and held this bottle over my mouth and forced me to drink a lot of vodka. Like enough that the fact that I didn't get alcohol poisoning is still to this day stunning to me. Okay? And then I don't know what... I shouldn't say that I don't know what his end game is because I think it's going to be pretty clear what his end game was. But at the time, I didn't know what his end game was. I didn't know him really at all. Thank goodness my friend Brian happened to be there that night because there was a lot of people that I didn't really know very well there. And this guy put me, Chris, put me in his bed after he got me so wasted that I don't even remember a large chunk of that night. All that I know is that my friend Brian decided to be my personal bodyguard, and he stayed with me that whole entire night, sat next to that bed, made sure that this guy did not go near me, made sure that nothing happened to me, and that I was okay. And if he hadn't have been there, who knows what would have happened to me that night. You know what I mean? Like, I was 15 years old. Like, that is the kind of situations that I was being put in. I didn't even come home that night. Did my mother not notice? Like, I'm not even sure she was home, honestly, because she used to go, like, to my grandma's a lot. And she would, like, spend the night, and she'd have my little sister with her. But, like, 15 years old. My daughter right now is 15. There's no way she would ever be in that situation because there's no way I would let that happen. Like that's the kind of stuff that, like, when I say that my mother wasn't really there, that's what I mean. Like, yes, she paid the bills, and yes, she bought groceries, and yes, she worked every day, but my mother doesn't even know to this day that story happened. I'm not even sure. I know most of my sisters, I think, know that it happened. If they don't and they watch this YouTube video, they know now. There's Chris for you guys. You guys know which Chris I'm talking about. But, like, you even know what Brian I'm talking about. But, like, it's so messed up. Like, that, 15 years old. Like, at the time, 15, of course, felt so old and so mature to me, but my daughter is 15 right now, and there's no way. There's no way. So, I don't know. Like, that's the kind of stuff that went on in my childhood. Like, thank goodness nothing really terrible. Well, I guess something did happen, but I'm not going to tell that story because I don't want people hearing that story. But I'm lucky I survived my adolescence, or my teenage years, I guess. I don't know. I just, like, that's, like, when I say that I have story times to tell, it's that kind of stuff. And I don't know if people want to hear that. Like, that's kind of a messed up situation. And it definitely was a lot at 15 years old. And what's crazy is I didn't even know for years. Like, I knew what happened, And I shouldn't say I knew what happened. I knew that I drank a lot, obviously. I knew that this guy forced vodka down my throat. And I knew that when I woke up, Brian was there. But I didn't know that he, like, stayed with me the whole night and that he made sure until years later, somebody else told me that he was like a rabid dog and would not let anybody near me. And thank goodness for him, because, like, still to this day, I consider that guy my friend. Like, who knows what would have happened. Well, I think we all know what would have happened. But anyway, this Chris guy, something happened. I want to say he, like, went to jail for something, probably prison. Because he was gone for quite a few years. And, when he came back, first thing he did was call me. First thing he did was try to call me. And, like, he wanted to see me. Like, it was insane to me that was the first thing that dude did when he got out of jail, was try to come find me. Like, and of course by that time I was old enough to know, holy crap, this guy was bad news. But, like, what kind of guy in his 20s goes for a 15-year-old? Like, oh my goodness. But yeah, so he did. And of course by the time he got out of jail, I was 17 or 18? So, you know, I knew better at that point than to have anything to do with him, but my goodness. And what's really funny is when he went to jail, I was a chubby 15-year-old girl with brown hair. And by the time he got back out of jail, I was dyeing my hair like bleach blonde at this point, because I met my friend Sarah, who was an aspiring beautician, and she would, like, do acrylic nails on all of us girls, and she, like, helped me bleach my hair right through the hole, helped me bleach my hair blonde, and I walked everywhere, so I had lost like 25 pounds or something. I was like stupid skinny, not to mention I smoked cigarettes by then and drank and, you know, smoked pot and whatever. Oh my gosh, I'm really failing at this game. But so he actually drove past me at one point. Didn't even know that he drove past me because he didn't recognize me because I looked that much different from the, you know, the last time he had seen me. And it was really, really, really funny to me because I recognized him because, you know, he was still the same. I'd probably recognize that guy right now if I saw him. But I thought that was kind of funny. So yeah, that's my 15th birthday. It's quite a story. And you know what's funny is I don't remember my 16th birthday. Like, I don't even know what I did for my 16th birthday. Couldn't tell you. There was no sweet 16 in my family. It was not made to be a big deal. I definitely did not get my driver's license that day. I couldn't even take driver's training because I'm pretty sure my mother couldn't afford it. Because obviously after my dad died, you know, she was the only income. And that's a lot when you're raising quite a few children. So, but yeah, I did not get my driver's license until I was 20 years old, actually. Once I finally saved up, got a car, went and took the road test, and got my license when I was 20. I think that's why I'm like over the top with my own kids, with like making sure that they, you know, that they're careful with everything. And like, it's funny because a lot of people are surprised that I tell my kids a lot of the stuff that I went through when I was younger, but it's like, of course I'm going to tell my kids, because how can I tell them don't do this, this, and this without, you know, like if I say, oh, I never drink, you shouldn't drink either. Oh, I've never smoked pot, but you shouldn't smoke pot. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, Obviously, like, I can tell them don't do cocaine even though I've never done cocaine because, hello, it's cocaine. You shouldn't do cocaine. It'll explode your heart. Ask my friend Scott. But, you know, there's certain things that I'm like, you know, it's okay to let your children know that you drank when you were younger. It's okay to let your children know certain things that you did so that you can explain to them. You know, take it from me, this is not the situation that you want to find yourself in. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. People always think it's weird that I tell my kids certain things that I've done in my life, but like, yeah, how else am I supposed to tell them not to do it, you know? I feel like there's more that I'm supposed to do in that one that I'm just not doing. Like there's a pipe that I'm supposed to go down or something. But yeah, I definitely went through some messed up things as a child, that is for sure. Or as a teenager. Well, yeah, still a child. You know. I would definitely say that my 15th birthday was probably one of the most messed up things. There's one other thing that's more messed up, but I won't be sharing that story. Especially because one of the people involved has a child. Like the person involved is not alive anymore, but he has a child that is a teenager, and I would hate for her to come across this video. And even though I wouldn't obviously use his last name, I mean, there's always that small chance that somehow she could find out that I was talking about her father, and I don't need a child to know. You know what I mean? Like I don't need a child to find out something like that about their own father without. I don't know. I wouldn't want to if it was my dad. Anyway, I'm going to end this video here, and thank you for listening. I'm sorry that I'm rambling and my stories are stupid and make no sense and are probably boring, but oh well. That's what you get for being subscribed to me. Don't unsubscribe though. Please stay subscribed. I'll do better. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank God I finally beat that level because that was driving me nuts. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!